I'll give you a moment to read this one over, and then we can talk about it together. Okay, so that was about a minute and a half. It's parallel flaw, so it is going to take a bit longer than others. Sometimes the choices are lengthier. And since it's parallel flaw, 2 steps. First, read the stimulus, determine the flaw for yourself. Then once you have an articulation of the flaw for yourself, scan the choices to see which one exhibits that particular flaw. So anyone have any thoughts on this one of the correct answer or what the flaw is? All right, so I've got one person here saying C. Anyone else? Got someone else saying C. Excellent. Okay, so it is in fact C. Now, how would you describe the flaw in your own words? What is the argument guilty of doing specifically? This is actually kind of a classic logical fallacy in a way, because the student said they saw it was a parallel flaw question and immediately went into panic. So these can be a bit more time consuming, like I said, but you've determined the flaw for yourself, and the student is saying, this is technically correct. I failed to choose it. I see why it's correct because of the logic that follows the same patterns that it does in the stimulus. So the logic is the same, yes, but what is the flaw? The flaw is that it's kind of an ad hominem personal attack. Because party Y was involved in a scandal itself, therefore, party Y does not have the right to accuse someone else of violating campaign finance laws, let's say. Now, the problem is that it's possible for someone who is a rule breaker to notice correctly when someone else violates the rules. The fact that they themselves have broken the rules has no bearing on their ability to spot it in others doing the same, and has no bearing on the validity or correctnness of their views. So the flaw is to say that because party Y was involved in a scandal, that the accusations they make are ill-founded, meaning they are just plain wrong. And once again, choice C is saying ill-founded just the same. So saying that it's ill-founded, we have no idea. They might not have a moral grounding to criticize others for doing it in a moralistic way, but that has no bearing on the validity of their claims themselves. Now, one person's asking the difference between B and C. Is the difference with C saying the violation was illegal? I think the difference is in saying that the accusations are ill-founded. These final 4 words of choice C is what makes it correct, because that's matching perfectly with the stimulus saying ill-founded as for what they're concluding. B, on the other hand, is saying hypocritical. Of course, it is hypocritical for the plaintiff to say it's wrong for someone else to commit these crimes when they themselves have committed the crime. If you've engaged in similar conduct and you shouldn't, then it's hypocritical for you to call out others. Yes, it is true that it's hypocritical. That's not flawed. But to say that, therefore, the defendant has not actually committed the crime is totally different. So I see one person saying hypocrisy is not the same as ill-founded. Excellent. That's exactly correct, Brennan. So yes, in fact, being hypocritical is more of a moralistic way to call someone out, but it has no bearing on the truth of the claim about the defendant having violated the laws themselves. So that's exactly it. Well done. So I think what makes this a bit difficult is that we have this innate tendency towards calling out people for being hypocritical because it strikes us as being immoral or unjust in some way to be hypocritical. But that doesn't mean that you're actually wrong for doing it. Like, let's say, for example, there's someone who used to shoplift. They're now a cashier at a grocery store. And this former shoplifter turned cashier sees a current customer shoplifting. The fact that they themselves used to shoplift has no bearing on whether the current customer actually is committing shoplifting or not. If they call out the customer for shoplifting, they could very well be correct in their claim. And the fact that they themselves have a criminal record for doing that has no impact on the current situation at hand. So well done on this one.